You're listening to the Creativepreneur Podcast Special Bonus Edition, and on today's show, I'm sharing one of my favorite quotes from my free audio ebook, 57 Ways to Monetize Your Gifts. So, stay tuned. Hello, my name is Rodney Washington, author, artist, and entrepreneur, and I'm passionate about helping creatives just like you do what lights you up and make a comfortable living while doing it. Each week, I'll be sharing timely business growth, marketing, and mindset hacks and interviews with courageous creative entrepreneurs to inspire you to get paid for your creativity. So grab your favorite beverage, sit back, and enjoy today's show. This episode of the podcast is sponsored by my free audio, book, and PDF, Get Paid for Your Creativity, 57 Ways to Monetize Your Gifts and Create True Security for Yourself. To get your hands on a copy of the free audiobook and PDF, go to getpaidforyourcreativity.com/57ways-gift. Welcome back. So I'm trying something new. In the coming weeks and possibly months of the podcast, I've decided that I'm going to take select inspirational quotes from my free audiobook and PDF that I talked about in the introduction, 57 Ways to Monetize Your Gifts, and I'm going to expand on some of those quotes and the ones that I like, the ones that are my favorites, and some of the listener and reader favorites that I've gotten feedback on through Instagram. And I'm going to do a special bonus edition series of podcast episodes that I'm going to be rolling out this fall. Now, I want to talk about why I decided to do this. I launched the show, the Creativepreneur Podcast, 5 months ago. Actually, to the time I'm recording this, my anniversary was 5 months ago on September the 9th. I rolled out the show on April the 9th of 2019. And my aim for the show when I launched it was to do a weekly show. Now, I don't know if you listened to that first episode, and I'll link to that in the show notes, but I used to have another podcast called Get Paid for Your Creativity, which I launched in 2013, about 6 years ago. But unfortunately, I abandoned the show after a few months because naively, I thought I could do a 5-day-a-week show. Silly me, right? But, I got really excited about the podcasting thing, and I thought, at the time I was following someone who's really big in podcasting, and he was doing 7 days a week. So I thought I can do 5 days a week. I'm technically proficient. I know how to do all of this stuff. Well, quickly I realized that I'd bit off way more than I could chew, and that a 5-day-a-week episode or show was not going to work. So unfortunately, I got overzealous and I abandoned the show. And I found that this is something that a lot of us as creatives can do. We can get really excited about a new project or a new idea, and we kind of throw ourselves into it 100% full throttle. And then unfortunately realize fairly quickly sometimes that it's just more than we can take on right now, because with everything that you create, there's infrastructure that has to be built into it, and support and team, and it has to fit into everything else going on in your life. So it's pretty easy to get overexcited about an idea and then take on more than you can actually deal with or do. So unfortunately, I abandoned that show, but I still always want to go back to podcasting. So when I decided to start this one, the Creativepreneur Podcast, back in April of this year, I decided to make my commitment to focus on consistency instead of trying to create more content. I felt consistency would be more important, that I could build slowly over time. So once a week works for me right now with everything else going on in my life. And I like that. I like knowing I have that commitment, there's that word again, commitment, that every Tuesday I'll put out an episode. Now, I'm going to talk about a couple of things here. That I'm going to talk about the quote and the inspiration for the quote from the audiobook and PDF. When I started everything, like I said before, I felt like that I wanted to eventually maybe up how many shows I do, possibly up to 2 a week. And I'm sort of thinking and tinkering with that idea, and that probably will happen. But right now, I want to, like I said, keep it consistently at as once a week right now. I'm also thinking about changing the day and do it on Fridays instead of Tuesdays. So I'm going to be testing some things. And the reason why I'm bringing all of this up is because I feel as creative entrepreneurs, we can't get so bogged down into formulas and thinking that things have to be a certain way because it quote unquote worked for somebody else. What works for someone else may not work for you. We're all different. Like I realized very quickly, I couldn't maintain a multi-episode a week show, not by myself. Not to say that I won't do it in the future with the with additional support, but right now at this stage, it's just not feasible to do. And again, I made my commitment to consistency, not trying to do something because I see someone else doing something similar. So, with that said, I wanted to sort of share these little nuggets with you as I'm moving forward and experimenting with new things, maybe adding on an occasional extra episode some weeks, maybe an extra episode on Fridays. I want to see how that goes, maybe change the day to Fridays if I think the Friday episodes get more traction than the Tuesday episodes. I also want to build more opportunity within the show to be able to have a two-way communication. So possibly a Facebook group for the Creatorpreneur podcast listeners. I'm definitely trying to get more traction going on Instagram. So that's an area I'm already active on right now, but possibly a Facebook group. And there's a few other ideas and things that I have. I want to start also, but this is the real big thing I want to make sure that I talk about before I share today's quote. Is I personally am a strategy person. I love tactics. I love strategies. You know, I've been involved in the internet online marketing space for probably about 13, 14 years. So I really get in and geek out on all of that stuff. But what I came to the realization at more recently than actually than ever is that it's great to know the strategies. It's great to know the tactics. It's great to know some of the technical aspects of doing your business and running your business, whether online or off. But the effectiveness of those tactics and strategies ultimately has to come down to your thought process and how you feel about yourself, the things you're thinking about, the things that you're doing, the things you're considering. Your mindset has to be in the place that will support those strategies or tactics. Otherwise, you're just learning strategies and tactics. But if there's things going on within you that are not supporting you moving forward, maybe you're holding yourself back in some way. And this is what I'm going to be talking about. And this segues into the topic of today's quote from the ebook. If your mindset is not in a place where it supports you, and what I mean by support is I mean believing in yourself, believing in your ability to do it, your willingness to believe or allow yourself to quote unquote fail and regroup and try again and readjust, realign, test, experiment, explore. Your willingness to be able to do all of those things determines the worth of that strategy or tactic to you or for you. So what I want to leave you with before I share today's quote is I want you to take a page from my playbook, if you will. Be willing to experiment. You know, as I said, I've been publishing the podcast now for 5 months. Our anniversary was yesterday. My anniversary was yesterday. And I love the weekly commitment and I'm sticking to that. But it's okay to experiment and maybe occasionally do an extra week here or there, an extra episode from time to time, possibly switching it to a totally different day. Adding other elements to create more connection, more conversation between the listeners and myself. As I mentioned, a Facebook group, maybe even a pop-up Facebook group. You know, there's a lot of things to experiment with, but also to balancing out the focus and the topics of the show. So everything isn't all on strategy. If you've been listening to the show for the month of July and August, I did a lot of episodes on how to build an irresistible freebie and on list building, and those were teaching episodes. There are going to be some interview episodes that I'm planning on doing. But I also felt like this inspirational piece or this mindset piece was equally important. And I wanted those to be special ones that I do from time to time and make them shorter. So, again, with all of that said, I want to go because I want to keep this episode short. That's another thing. It's another thing I'm testing out is doing some shorter episodes. I want to keep this one short. So, today's quote is key number 7 from the Monetize Your Gifts ebook. And you can get that again at Get Paid for Your Creativity. 57 Ways Gift. You also can find a link to it in the show notes at getpaidforyourcreativity.com/024 for episode 24. So the day's quote is this. It says key number 7. There's 57 keys in the book. And the quote reads this. Going for more is easy. Actually, it's playing small that's hard. Don't believe me? Ask anybody dreading going to work tomorrow morning. Now, the inspiration for this quote actually came to me. I want to share a little bit of backstory on this quote. This actually came to me about 20 years ago when I was actually rushing to get to work to a job that to say I hated would be a gross understatement. Fast forward, having been running a business now for almost 13 years, as challenging as that can be even to this day, it's still never as frustrating as spending my days doing something that just felt absolutely soul draining. So with that said, if you're at a place in your life where maybe you're working at a job, or you already could be in your own business, or it could even be clients that you're working with that are draining you. There's family members or friends. It could be a myriad of different ways that you can, quote unquote, hold yourself back. But I'm going to keep this in the context of a job or your business or maybe clients or something like that. If you're holding yourself back and not going for more, and I want to also make a caveat here, I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about transforming what you're doing to only doing activities that bring you joy and make you happy and make you grow. If you're not doing that, then it's time to recognize that and force yourself to make a change. Because this is the honest truth. We've only got one life to live. And if you're not happy, then you, me, all of us has the power to change it. Remember, this is our life, your life. It's not dress rehearsal. And when it's done, it's done. So whenever you find yourself struggling, being negative, frustrated, ask yourself, where am I playing small? And sit with that for a minute. Where am I playing small? Because in the moments of the greatest frustration, the greatest negativity, the greatest struggle, usually it means that there's something that we aren't doing, something we aren't seeing, something we aren't recognizing. And usually it results in us thinking at a lower level, shrinking, playing small, holding back, not taking action, not sending that email, not calling that person, not reaching out to that whatever, taking that course or buying that book or whatever it is, because we can get stuck in our ruts. And that ultimately results in us not taking action. And that's my definition of playing small. So when you ask yourself that empowering question, where am I playing small? And then stop trying to figure out and listen to what's coming through to you. Then take action based on where you know the next step should be. It probably is something as very simple as calling someone, emailing someone, taking a day off or an afternoon off or an hour away, changing jobs, starting a new business, firing a client, start that project that you've been keeping in the back burner forever, relaunching that podcast, writing that book, starting that new line, whatever it is. But I will leave you with this. Whenever you ask that question, and you get clear on that next step is, remember this: you are just one action away from a life-changing opportunity. So take action and live well. Thank you so much for joining me today for this bonus short episode of the Creativepreneur Podcast. I'm going to be doing more of these. I'm going to take excerpts from the ebook and doing little expanded episodes over the coming months. But you can see all of them now and listen to all of them now by going to my show notes for this episode at getpaidforyourcreativity.com/024 for episode 24. And you'll see a link right there at the top that you can access this program for yourself. I'll see you on the next episode of the podcast. Enjoy the rest of your week. Take care. We have entered the age of creative self-employment. In the new economy, people are creating true security for themselves. That's why I believe there's never been a better time in history to monetize your gifts. So if you're ready to take control of your financial and creative future, I have something for you. It's my free audio and PDF program, 57 Ways to Monetize Your Gifts and Create True Security for Yourself. And you can get that at my website, getpaidforyourcreativity.com/57ways gift.